Welcome to day 2 of the Rally d'Espagne. On day 1, in a Catalan dawn, the fight for the 2011 title saw a ferocious opening exchange. For some, it was hard to see the wood from the trees. As the dust settled, one man kept a cool head and emerged from the carnage unscathed. Sebastian Loeb. On today's show, you will see every defining moment as the fight to be champion continues. The Catalan battleground moves from gravel to tarmac for day 2, and our stage of the day here is the 45-kilometre monster, El Priorat. And local hero and our featured driver, Dani Sordo, is right there in amongst it as he strives to claim a 3rd podium place of the season in his Mini. The Catalan dust caught the whole field by surprise on day 1. A cool temperature, 0 wind and a low sun resulted in Sebastian Loeb's dust trail lingering in the air, making it very difficult for those behind to see. A very challenging predicament when trying to drive a WRC car at high speed. The more cars that charged into the stage, the worse the dust got. Loeb seized the advantage and led by the midway point of the day. His 2 title contenders, Hirvonen and Ogier, were left floundering over 15 seconds adrift, while Peter Solberg and Ken Block were 2 early victims of the dust cloud when they both hit the same unseen concrete block. Game over on the first stage for both frustrated drivers. The man closest to Loeb at this point was Jari-Matti Latvala, who was flat out and desperate to take the fight to both Citroens and help his teammate Mikko. An excellent performance saw him snatch the lead in the early afternoon. Sébastien Ogier was still in the fight until this costly mistake caused a broken wheel and puncture and dropped him out of contention. The final stage of the day was run in darkness. The fear was the dreaded dust would return to cause havoc. Those fears were realised. Dani Sordo couldn't cope with the conditions at all. Then Latvala was the next victim. After spinning mid-stage, he then hit rocks and suffered a puncture, handing a 30-second lead back to Loeb. The Salou Service Park was then a hive of activity as the crack teams of mechanics worked late into the night to transform the gravel-spec WRC cars into low-riding tarmac spec for day 2. Our featured driver Dani Sordo will be looking forward to taking on his preferred surface.
Day 2 will be much better. First thing is car looks nicer in tarmac, so you want to more pushing hard, no? And tarmac I like more, so I think it will be more interesting day.
This is how the top WRC crews line up. Sebastian Loeb will lead the way onto the tarmac. The Ford Abu Dhabi drivers need to hold on to their podium places to keep Hirvonen's title hopes alive, and Ogier's fight back will begin from 4th place. Dani Sordo is one of the best in the world on the Catalan asphalt. He starts just ahead of his Mini teammate Chris Meek. M Sport's Stobart Norwegians Mads Osberg and Henning Solberg are 7th and 8th on the road, while Evgeny Novikov has switched from a Ford to a Citroen. Matt Wilson, Dennis Kuipers and Khalid Al-Qasimi round off the top 12 starters. The 6 stages of day 2 again head out to the west of host town Salou, but instead of the mainly gravel opening leg, we're now back to the wide sweeping tarmac roads for which Rally Catalunya has become renowned. The first of those is the 2nd longest stage of the season, and the first pass through the blisteringly quick 46 kilometres of El Priorat is our stage of the day. As well as being the longest of the weekend, this marathon test is also famous for the El Millar hairpin, which has become a focal point for thousands of Spanish fans, and the first car to entertain them will be Sebastian Loeb. Sebastian plants his foot to the floor and screams off into the flowing tarmac roads of our stage of the day. The Citroen star expected to lose time running first on the gravel on day 1, but instead comes onto the asphalt with a lead of more than half a minute. And a terrific reception for the rally leader at El Millar.
Droite 130 plus Milan. Sur fin de suite pour attention 50 mètres gauche 100 plus.
Jari-Matti Latvala is rapidly becoming the form driver in the latter stages of the 2011 season. His increasingly impressive pace on asphalt in particular is underlining Ford's precociously talented Finn is almost a finished article on all surfaces. Another roar from the Spanish crowd as Jari-Matti charges off in pursuit of the rally leader. Mikko Hirvonen starts day 2 in 3rd, but with his teammate ahead of him, that could potentially become 2nd. There's still a long way to go, though, and Mikko has a few drivers to be wary of behind him. One of those is Sebastian Ogier, but like Latvala, his hopes of challenging Loeb for the rally win have been devastated by a day 1 puncture. If Ogier can get back ahead of Mikko Hirvonen, he will be doing his teammate a huge favour in the championship race, and with 51 seconds to make up, Sebastian's already on the attack in our stage of the day. The excitement is building down at the El Millar hairpin because Spanish sensation Dani Sordo will be next to arrive. He's finished 2nd at his home event 4 times when driving as Loeb's Citroën teammate. He's going to have to wait a bit longer for that first win. And let's listen to the crowd when their hero comes into view. Quick tug of the handbrake from Danny. He flicks the John Cooper Works expertly round the hairpin, hard on the gas into the straight, with his fans willing him all the way to the following corner. Which really has become one of the iconic images of the World Rally Championship in recent years. The El Millar hairpin actually crosses the split time marker after 9.5 kilometres. Let's use the WRC stage simulator to compare those first 5 cars as though they'd started at the same time. Loeb has made the best start, but his teammate Ogier and Latvala are not too far adrift. Sordo's 4.5 seconds slower, and it's not looking good for Hirvonen again. The Ford man 8 seconds down on Loeb at that stage. That's almost a second a kilometre. Latvala has worked hard to evolve his driving style to become accustomed to the completely different grip levels on sealed surfaces. Looking at his telemetry, you can get a sense how important the braking points are on asphalt. Rather than reacting to the slide on gravel corners, here it's a dab on the brake, turn in, and hard on the power on the exit. Latvala has found a good rhythm in stage 7, which is crucial on such a long stage. He's powering on towards the flying finish, and he's not going to be far off Loeb's time. Just 4.3 seconds slower than the greatest tarmac driver of his generation on a 46-kilometre stage.
Gary, you deserve a big pat on the back. Yeah, it is my best performance on this stage ever. I have never been so quick on this stage, which I can be happy about it. But on the other hand, it's not enough. I'm 30 seconds behind, so I should be 4 seconds ahead.
Latvala really pleased with that drive, and rightly so. Back in the stage, meanwhile, Mikko Hirvonen is still off the pace. While his teammate continues to go from strength to strength on asphalt, Mikko slipped further adrift of the leading pair in here. Oh dear, almost 26 seconds slower than Loeb in stage 7.
I really don't understand my time. That is unbelievable.
What don't you understand?
I felt I had a really good stage, but when you look at the time, it's really bad. So I'm amazed. Oh, that's all I can say.
Hirvonen is amazed, and he should be concerned too, because Ogier's split times have been impressive again in our stage of the day. But there's a problem. I don't believe this. That is another puncture for Ogier. It's his 2nd in the space of 3 stages, and on such a long test, he's got no choice but to stop and change the wheel. A nightmare start to day 2 for the Citroën Total driver. More than a minute and a half have elapsed before they're back on the move. And that, of course, is another dent to his own dwindling title hopes.
Sebastian, a stop in the stage and 140 down. What happened?
There's a puncture. And this time I was completely in the middle of the road.
Front, rear?
Yesterday it was my fault, but today I really don't know.
It's Ogier who was the big loser in stage 7 then. The Frenchman slips 2 places to 6th, with the minis of Sordo and Meek benefiting, while out front the other Citroën driving Sebastian has pulled further ahead of the chasing pack. Loeb is the man to beat in Spain again then. Can his rivals respond on the remaining 2 stages of the morning loop? Stay with us to find out. Welcome back to sunny Spain, where the RACC Rally de España has moved on to its breathtakingly quick tarmac stages, and Sebastian Loeb has already reminded the rally world he's going to take some beating this morning. There are a few damp patches around, but that fastest time in the day's opening test has seen the Frenchman stretch his advantage to almost 35 seconds. And with 2 more asphalt stages to complete in the morning loop, the world champion looks to assert his advantage. There's a few stones around in the road in stage 9, and Seb backs off slightly. With a championship at stake, there's no need for excessive risks at this late stage of the season. Jani-Matti Latvala was delighted with his pace compared to Loeb in the opening stage of the day. With such a big gap to the rally leader, all Latvala can do is keep the pressure on. He's just 1.1 seconds slower than the Frenchman in stage 8, and here in 9, he might even beat him.
30,2. 30 vasenlaita jatkuu oikein 2 kirraa 3, älä kaide ahdas. Maali.
Into the flying finish. Yes, an awesome run from Latvala, 3.2 seconds quicker than Loeb.
It's good, but it should be all the time this way if I want to pressurize him. But I'm really happy to see it on that way, because it really feels a good feeling about the tarmac performance.
Latvala is still flying then. Sébastien Ogier, meanwhile, has been frustrated by a second puncture this morning. The winner last time out at his home event in France. His hopes of claiming a 6th win of the season have been decimated by those 2 flats. His second fight back has already begun, though. Ogier passes Meek to claim 5th in stage 8. Spanish star Dani Sordo is Ogier's next target, but catching the mini-man on his home event is going to be significantly more difficult, especially as Sordo is on a charge as he steadily gains on Mikko Hirvonen's 3rd position. So Chris Meek's hold on 5th place turned out to be a brief one, with Ogier moving back ahead already. After a frustrating mistake in France, though, this weekend is all about securing a first point-scoring finish of the year for the Northern Irishman. The biggest threat to Meek's 6th spot at the moment is Mads Osberg. The Norwegian is suffering from overheating brakes, though, and he's slower than Meek in both these stages. Osberg's teammate and compatriot Henning Solberg lost a lot of time on day 1 with intercom problems, but he's back up to speed on the second leg. Henning is just over a minute behind Osberg in 8th. Evgeny Novikov has swapped his Ford Fiesta for a Citroën DS3 for one event to evaluate a possible switch for 2012. The young Russian has shown flashes of impressive speed so far this year, but has yet to claim a finish, so he'll be happy to be running in the points in 9th. With the morning loop completed then, this is how the leaderboard looks. Loeb's lead remains at around half a minute. Credit to Latvala for preventing him from pulling away, though. Hirvonen is still 3rd, but he's now a minute and a half behind the leader. The crews have left the hills behind and travelled back down to the coast, the Portaventura Service Park in Salou.
I try still to keep a good rhythm, to keep Jani-Matti behind, because he's, like you said, he's going very fast now on tarmac. I'm not allowed to have any problem, any puncture, because it's only 30 seconds, so we will see.
Okay, the main thing is that you get the confidence to the car. The setup is built now that I trust it a lot for it, and it turns. It feels like when I need to turn, it turns. And when I'm braking, it stops, like it doesn't do anything, any surprises. And also, okay, I've been working a lot with my driving. It's much smoother what it has been, and I try to use every inch of the tarmac what I can.